This is the PCSRA Radio Network and the Blue Hedgehog TV. We now interrupt your regular scheduled programming for the following sports special. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the International Motorsports Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast, retransmission or other dissemination or the use of this broadcast, descriptions or accounts of this show without the express written consent of the International Motorsports Association is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to the Imsa Podcast presented by Toyota. Now with the call of today's show, here's the voice of the PCSRA, Daniel Voiles.
And hello and good afternoon and welcome to the Imsa Podcast here on the PCSRA Radio Network, the Blue Hedgehog TV, and on YouTube as well. Daniel Voiles here at none other than our Yukon studios. We will have Triple B coming up later on in the show. But first things first, some business that needs to be taken care of. First off, I want to apologize for the delay of the Imsa Podcast because there's a couple of reasons why this show got delayed. Number one is because of the fact that my dad was in the hospital last week, and I did not have enough time to get this show done and talk about my thoughts and all that. I had to postpone the IMSA podcast to today as part of a doubleheader with Triple P. So that's the first thing I will take care of on that sentence. The second thing I need to take care of is that I am not going to discuss anything with anybody as far as my girlfriend is concerned because I really am not in the mood to talk about it, and I really don't care about talking about it, even though I do care about my girlfriend, but I really don't want to talk about it as far as I'm concerned because it's between me and my girlfriend, and nobody else needs to get involved with my business on my girlfriend. Okay? Having said that, we are going to go ahead and get to covering some stuff for the IMSA podcast because we had not had a chance to recap some stuff. I should have just done this, made this a little easier for me, because we have some IMSA stuff that's been going on since we were last with you. So, okay, so let's talk about the race weekend, the penultimate weekend, which was VIR. The results from VIR for GT Le Mans: Nick Tandy and Tommy Miller won, Antonio Garcia, Jordan Taylor second, Kevin Estrie, Cooper McNeil finished third. Top 10 results for the GT Daytona class: Lawrence Van der Voot won, which Zachary Robichon. Brian Sellers, Madison Snow second, Jack Hawksworth, Aaron Tellez third, Patrick Long, Trent Hidman fourth, Ross Gunn, Roman DeAngelis fifth. Sixth was Alex Ribieras and Ian James. Seventh was Jeff Westphal and Richard Heistand. Eighth, Daniel Morid and Michael de Quesade got eighth. Ninth, Franklin Pura, Misha Goldberg, Catherine Lake, Robert Ferroli completed the top 10. I gave that weekend a solid 8. So, yeah, a solid 8 on that. Let's go over some IMSA news since we were last with you guys. Chip Ganassi Racing is closing in on a 2-car Cadillac DPI effort for next season. The contenders in that CGRC and expanded 22 DPI effort are Sebastian Bourdais, Earl Bamberg, Alex Lynn. With Bourdais apparently going full-time, as far as that's concerned. Bamberg, who has not been under factory contract with Porsche this year, is understood to be another driver high on list, with the Kiwi having recently moved to Nashville, anticipating of a full season WeatherTech Championship next year. While now appearing unlikely, CGR had at one point debuting its second Cadillac DPI entry at next month's Motel Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta, excuse me. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that news right there. Alpine has announced that they will be in the LMDH program starting in 2024, which is a very exciting deal, if you know what I mean. That was my roommate in the background who wants to be rude and keeps saying, "Hey, baby," which I'm getting a little annoyed about that. But anyway, Alpine is the sixth mate to join the LMDH formula as far as the global. The other five are Audi, Porsche, Acura, BMW, and Cadillac. By the way, we'll talk about Acura in the Triple P segment, because there's some stuff that we'll need to talk about that. They want to commit by running a 4-year LMDH program starting in 2024, which would be very nice to see that, which would be in the World Endurance Championship, as far as how they will do the next 2 seasons. So we will keep an eye on that. And then I just saw in the news today, the box is about to be shaken and turned upside down. Its contents spilled. Some of it looked familiar, but in different places, nothing is the same. Really, nothing that is except the change. The Imsa WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is in the early months of a significant change. In 2023, the series top class will include LMDH, which is nice. The changes itself sound straightforward and direct, but the prospects of adding a new class presents complicated challenges for teams and makes the change require long-ranging plans, which is already underway for those who have announced their LMDH intentions. But change is their strength, team officials say, so it might not be as overwhelming as it appeared. Team owner Wayne Taylor said, quote, "I don't think it is as daunting as people want to make it," he said to everybody. "It's not that daunting. The only thing that's daunting is the question of whether we've designed and built a car that can win all of the races." At its core, motorsports is about evolution. Over the course of a century, sports car racing has gone from the Spanish 1914 Vauxhall Prince Henry Weinguard as the first sports car to complicated, the state-of-the-art machines that implement the latest technology. The more complicated and expensive the race car, the fewer are built. LMDH, which crushes distinction bodies and has commitment so far from 5 makes and 3 teams in the WeatherTech Championship, have to have found the proper fit between tech and car count. That's going to be interesting. Hello, Maxi. No English. Oh. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Let's go over here to the video.
Let me make sure you guys
yes, you can hear me.
Let's go over.
Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Sweet. I just wanted to double check. Tim Cindric, president of Team Penske, which fields Porsche LMDH cars as Porsche Penske Motorsports, begin at the Rolex 24 in 2023, says that's how motorsports has evolved through the years. There's a balance in that for sure between car counts and technology. People talk about budget, but really from a racing perspective, it's always a balance of what the car count is going to be. So this is going to be an interesting story moving on how this is going to be. But like I said, that's about 2 years, well, soon to be next year from now once we get into 2022. So more on that discussion going forward. By the way, this is also the penultimate episode of the Imsa the Imsa Podcast, excuse me. Jimmy Johnson, Simon Pagenaud was testing at Road Atlanta for the Petit Le Mans next month, which is cool. Yeah. The Michelin GT Challenge of VI are broadcast. If you have not seen that race, you can watch it on the IMSA's YouTube channel. And, yeah. So that's really going to be fun. Now, let's preview the Petit Le Mans, the final race of the 2021 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. That weekend will be the weekend after the NASCAR Cup Series finale season comes to an end, and we crown our champions. Road Atlanta is one of my favorite races, and this was one of my bucket list races I want to go to, is the Petit Le Mans. Because of its rich history, its excitement, its fun racing, and it's going to be great with all 5 classes. It's going to be interesting, which, by the way, it's about 22 days or so from now. So we're going to see how this race is going to develop over the course of the season. It's going to be a fun race to watch all 5 classes duke it out for the championship. So, yeah. Keys to the race for me. It is a long race, so you got to stay on course. This track has a couple of blind corners. As you go down the hill, go up through the left-hander, as somebody is coming to interrupt me while I'm recording the stream. So it will be just a moment on my roommate. It is... Okay. Anyway, as I'm getting a little distracted here. Anyway, a lot of blind corners. This track is really a narrow one because we've seen a lot of bad accidents in the past. In particular, the Pilot Challenge race 2 years ago, where I think somebody spun at the fastest part of the track, which is the back straightaway, going into 10 and 10A. And it's really a big accident you don't want to have as far as that is concerned. So we'll have to wait and see how the racing's going to be. And, you know, with the Endurance Cup on the line and a championship on the line, anything can and will happen. So we will see how that's going to go, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that will be, if I look up on my calendar, that will be, of course, we'll have the Fox Factory 120. That will be at November 12th at 2:10 Eastern Time. That will be on Track Pass. Saturday, November 13th, we'll have a 3-hour coverage of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship from Petit Le Mans. There will be Track Pass. That will be there for all 10 hours. The rest of the race will be on NBCSN. You can watch the Fox Factory race Tuesday, November 23rd at 1 Eastern Time. And Road Atlanta for the MX-5 will be on the 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll have the Prototype Challenge to finish up that season. So hopefully you guys are looking forward for some good racing so far. And then the next time we'll be back here will be November the 15th, which will be the final episode of the IMSA podcast, which I hope you guys look forward to that. It will be a very fun show so far. So that's going to conclude our portion of the IMSA podcast, the penultimate episode of the IMSA podcast, I should say. Stay right here because Triple P is coming up in about 30 seconds. So we will now get ready for Triple P right now. But first, the sponsors.
On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, IMSA Podcast has been brought to you by Budweiser, Love's Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, and by Chevrolet. Thanks for joining us for the IMSA Podcast. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the PCSRA Sports Network. Copyright 2021 by the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the International Motorsports Association Incorporates.
All right, now to Triple P.
Podcast is presented by the authority of the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues, Incorporated, for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast, retransmission, or other dissemination or the use of this broadcast, descriptions, or accounts of this show without the express written consent of the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues, Incorporated is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to the PCSRA Paddock Pass Show. We're glad that you're here to start a new journey of the PCSRA as the chase for the 2021 championships begin. Welcome to the PCSRA Paddock Pass on the PCSRA Radio Network as we get ready to bring you all the racing for the 2021 season. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Budweiser, Love's Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, and by the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office, where we encourage all of you fans that together we can end DUI. Now, for the greatest show on earth from today's episode of the PCSRA Paddock Pass from Yukon, Oklahoma, here's the voice of the PCSRA, Daniel Voiles.
All right, well, that was a quick 30 seconds, even though it took long. I do need to say this to anybody that's watching, especially my roommates. Do not try to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of a show, because when I do this and I'm doing this, that means I'm live and I don't want to hear the conversation. Anyway, welcome to our portion of Triple P. No national anthem because I don't feel like doing one, but we will have one next week because why not? So, gonna go over a couple of announcements before we get started. With the hi, Steven. Okay, I just want to say hi to Steven, but anyway. So, anyway, I feel like this is going to be a good race. So it's really, my dad's doing alright, if you're all wondering. He's back at the nursing home. I didn't go see him because I just didn't feel like, I didn't feel like going to see him because I just want to save some gas on my, deal, so, yeah. Second announcement I just need to say is, the job situation, I might have to, think about quitting Harkins and go work at Crabtown because that's probably where I'm going to be at. I'm not going to, however, tell anybody when I'm going to do it. It's going to be between me and my house manager, Jack, so, but, yeah. So, anyway, with that being said, that's all the announcements. If I have any more between now and then, I will get to you all as soon as I can. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off Triple P by recapping the only race we had this weekend. That was the Texas weekend. So, there we go. So, let's go ahead and kick off Triple P, recapping Texas, after I send the link out to everyone. And before I forget, if you guys want to follow me on social media, the links are down in the description. Also, if you want to join my Pirates 2013 forum, the link is also down in the description, so that way you guys can head over there. You can see all the news in the ICRL as well as all the other news and notes that's going on around the amazing organization. So, yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about Texas. Starting with the Xfinity Series Andy's Frozen Custard 335, even though it was like a 300-mile race. It was because Andy's was celebrating their 35th anniversary. Alright, so we had a competition yellow. By the way, I did watch both races because why not? Anyway, Competition yellow on lap 22-25. Then we had a stack up where Sam Mayer got ran into the back of by another car. At the same time, the 4-car of Landon Castle came to a stop. That brought out a yellow along with another car, but there you go. J.G. Haley lost an engine on his number 17 Rick Ware racing car. He was done for the day. Stage 1 was won by playoff contender Austin Cindric in that regard. Then we had a debris on the front on the track after that. Then Ryan Sieg spun coming off turn number 2, which he didn't hit anything except had to replace his hood flap, but continued on. Rest of stage 2 was clean. That was won by John Hunter Nemechek. Then a big wreck in turn number 1, turns 1 and 2, which Dylan Lupton got loose, got into Tanner Berryhill. They took each other into the wall and collected Jay Buford, who already went to the garage because of a transmission issue. All 3 of those cars had pretty significant damage. Their days were done. Then C.J. McLaughlin spun coming off turn number 4 through the infield grass. He had a suspension problem, which took him out of the race. And then the final caution was Brandon Brown's spin into the inside wall off turn number 2. And at the end of the day, John Hunter Nemechek wins the Xfinity race at Texas, which also continues the streak of having non-playoff drivers go to victory lane this season in the Xfinity Series playoffs. The top 10 results for the Xfinity Series race are as follows, and here's a funny quote. All 8 of our playoff contenders finished in the top 10, so I don't have to say the sentence, where did the rest of your playoff drivers finish, since they all finished in the top 10, so yeah. John Hunter Nemechek wins. Daniel Hemrick so close. He came home in second. Noah Gragson third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Austin Cindric fifth. A.J. Allmendinger sixth. Justin Haley seventh. Harrison Burton eighth. Michael Annett ninth. And Brandon Jones completed the top 10. Right now, as things stand, as I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Xfinity points, let me go to J-Ski. I believe, I'm going to go ahead and confirm it with you guys, the 4 drivers that go into Kansas this weekend in the danger zone are Daniel Hemrick, Justin Haley, Harrison Burton, and Brandon Jones. So those 4 will need a good run or need a win to punch their ticket to the championship for, which, in fact, nobody punched their ticket in the championship for following the race following the first race of the round of 8 for Xfinity. Then we go to the Cup Series race for their first race of the round of 8. I did watch with my friends. Competition yellow on lap 27, which is no surprise. Then we had the big one. I did not expect them to wreck on lap 30 of a 334-lap race, but yes. A big wreck that was caused with Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece, Ryan Newman, Justin Haley, Cody Ware, Joey Gase, Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, Cole Custer, and Michael McDowell. Several cars had to go to the garage. Bowman, Wallace, Stenhouse, Newman, Preece, Haley, Ware, and Gase were done for the day after that huge wreck on the back straightaway. Stage 1 was calm and clean. That was won by Kyle Busch. Then we had a debris caution on the back straightaway. The rest of Stage 2 was clean. That was won by Kyle Larson. So the Kyle and Kyle show swept the first 2 stages. Debris caution on the back straightaway. Then we had a fluid on track. Then a stack up that was caused when Kyle Busch ran in the back of the 17 of Chris Buescher. More on Buescher later on. And it got the 38 of Anthony Alfredo turned around in the back. He backs into the wall, ruptures the fuel tank. The tank catches on fire. That brought out a 11-minute red flag. Then Ryan Blaney cut Denny Hamlin's tire off turn number 4, and Denny Hamlin lost control of his car. He slightly touched the inside wall on his car. So before that, Joey Logano blew his engine. That was the fluid on track. Was from Logano's engine. Then Daniel Suarez got into playoff contender Martin Truex Jr. sent Truex into the wall. His day was done. Then the final caution of the day came out when Chris Buescher got turned around by Chase Briscoe. They swept Denny Hamlin involved, his second incident in a row. And the 17 was done for the day. I believe the 14 and 11 continued on in that race. Hamlin ended up finishing 11th. Truex ended up 25th, and Joey Logano ended up 30th. And at the end of the day, Kyle Larson gets his 8th win of the season, which explains the thumbnail. And with that, he is the first driver to punch his ticket into the championship 4 at Phoenix in a few weeks' time. The top 10 results for the Cup Series. Kyle Larson, playoff contender, the winner. William Byron, second. Christopher Bell, nice top 3 run in third after he was recently eliminated. Brad Keselowski, 4th. Kevin Harvick, 5th. By the way, Byron and Harvick were the other 2 drivers that just were recently eliminated. Ryan Blaney, 6th. Chase Elliott, 7th. Kyle Busch, 8th. Tyler Reddick, 9th. Daniel Suarez completed top 10. I've already documented the other playoff drivers where they finished in the race. So the 4 drivers that come into the Kansas weekend in the danger zone are Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano. Logano needs a good run, or he will find himself in a must-win situation at Martinsville next week. I've already given you guys my ratings were really solid. I gave it like a solid 7.5 for the entire weekend, so there you go. So let's get right in. Starting with Daniel Ricciardo to demote Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s NASCAR Cup car at the U.S. Grand Prix this weekend, which will be very nice. I talked about this on the Imsa Podcast. Acura is going to be the stickers on the Red Bull car for this weekend's United States Grand Prix, still paying tribute to Honda. Yeah, that was my house manager. The F1, F2, and F3 calendars were released. So let's talk about the F3 calendar. Hi, Jack. Not much. Okay, the F3 calendar. Starting with them. Their season opener, they'll be at Bahrain. The second race, they'll be at Imola. Third race will be at Barcelona. Silverstone, race 4. Race weekend number 4 at Silverstone. Race 5 will be at Spielberg. Then they'll go to Budapest in Hungary. Spa in Belgium for weekend 7. Weekend 8 is at the Netherlands, and Monza to finish the season. For F2, a lot of changes on this one. We'll start with a Middle Eastern tour, back-to-back weekends at Sakir and the New Jeddah Street Circuit in Saudi Arabia. Then they will go to Imola for the very first time, which I might do a Imola race for the on the F1 2021 game. I'll probably do that later this weekend. Then they'll go to Barcelona, which is subject to change. Monaco for the Monaco weekend. Azerbaijan in Baku. Silverstone in July. Then Spielberg, then Budapest, Spa, which they returned to Spa for the first time in a couple of years. Zandvoort, new venue for them. They were supposed to go to that racetrack last year before COVID-19 had other ideas. Monza for the 9th through 11th, Sochi, and then the season finale at Yas Marina. Now to the F1 calendar. A lot of changes if you not noticed. which also brings up my next topic I'm going to discuss. The Chinese Grand Prix is set to be off the calendar for the third year in a row due to the, well, as people like to say, the pandemic, if you know what I mean. So we are really sad, which, by the way, that explains why Imola is on the calendar. So they start the season in Bahrain and then Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Then the Australian Grand Prix, we are praying and hoping will go on April the 8th through the 10th, which will happen. Then we have the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, which, by the way, later in the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode will be doing that race. The Miami track, the Miami Grand Prix at right by Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium in Miami for the first of 2 US GPs, which will be excited. Then we go to Spain, Monaco, which means Monaco will have the greatest day in motorsports: Monaco, Indy, and Charlotte. So there you go. Then it's Azerbaijan in Baku. Then they go to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. Fingers crossed that race will go on as planned. Then the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. Then we have Spielberg in Austria. So there's a flip-flop there. The French Grand Prix in Paul Ricard. Normally would be after Canada, but now it's after Silverstone, Austria. Then we go to Hungary. Then Spa. Then Spa in Belgium. Then Zandvoort, Monza, the Russian Grand Prix, the Singapore Grand Prix, which we're hoping it will be back on the calendar, Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix, then the USGP in Austin, Texas, then Mexico City, then Sao Paulo, and Abu Dhabi to finish the season. So there you go. So, yeah. So, yeah. I kind of like the schedules. Like I said, I'm going to give Qatar a chance. I'm going to give Jeddah a chance. Jeddah will be fun in the My Team, I can tell you that. So, I'm going to give this schedule, and hopefully everything goes as planned, a chance. I really want these tracks to go ahead as planned because it's going to be good racing. We don't know how Miami's going to be, so that's kind of an unknown. Would have been nice if they had the North American Tour start at Miami, start in Canada, then Miami, then COTA, then Mexico. That would be a quadruple header, but hey, at least I like the calendar, and we'll see how it goes in the 2 races for how it will go onto the calendar. So we'll see about that. Next topic on the agenda, and I gotta. Let me message Sean real quickly. So, anyway, next topic. By the way, I got distracted because of Sean's deal. Alex Permit is out of the Bathurst 1000 again due to travel restriction rules, which, in my opinion, is starting to get really annoying. Motorsports Identity, Gary Dumbrell passed away. Our condolences go out to his family and friends. Goddard confirmed end of year MSR departure. No word where he's going next year. Kelly Grove Racing announced Heimgartner's new co-driver soon because of Earl Bambritt having to miss that race because of travel restrictions with COVID-19, which, in my opinion, they're living in fear. Oh, it was due to commitments, so. Oh, it's Matthew Payne who will be who will replace Andre Heimgartner at Kelly Grove Racing next year. So there you go. So, let me see here. Nothing in the W Series, nothing in DTM. They're in. Liam Lawson is going to be leaving DTM. No word where he's going for next season. So there you go. He might go to F2 or something like that. We just don't know at the moment. On to NASCAR news. Stephen Parsons will go full-time in the Xfinity Series next season. Sources indicate a 23-11 tentative deal for a charter from Front Row Motorsports has fallen through. As Front Row walked away from final talks, one option for 23-11 likely is to talk with Spire, which expect to have at least 2 charters in 2022. Front Row Motorsports could remain a 2-car team in 2022. McNally Higaman Racing will field Chevrolets and have alliance with GMS Racing in the Truck Series for next season, which is really good. Ben Bayshore is back for crew chief for Kyle Busch after he was suspended for 2 loose lug nuts at the Charlotte Roval. No other penalties other than Daniel Hemrick and Riley Herbst's crew chiefs fined $5,000 for 1 lug nut not tightened, and also for Cup, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, and Tyler Reddick's crew chiefs fined $10,000 for 1 lug nut not properly installed. So there you go. By the way, ARCA is this weekend, which Ty Dillon is going to wrap up the championship. No surprise there. And we'll have a championship race in the ARCA West Series to find out who will win the championship in that series. So that should be very interesting indeed. So, with that all taken care of. Oh, here's something from Pockers that just came up. DC Solar's Jeff Karpoff was supposed to be sentenced tomorrow, but postponed to November 9th after he was diagnosed with an elevated temperature and potential COVID-19 exposure. Plea agreement is for 25 to 30 years in jail for the fraud, but judge doesn't have to abide by the agreement. So, yeah. So, that, by the way, just came in from Bob Pockris, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so we'll have the lineups coming up, if you know what I mean. So Parker Kligerman will be racing this weekend at Kansas, so that's going to be fun. And yeah, so With that said, let's go ahead and look ahead to the upcoming races. Global is back after taking an off week last week. So, by the way, the global standings are still the same based off what happened 2 weeks ago. So, the standings, if I'll look at Sean's message in just a second. So, the global standings going into COTA. Of course, no global points we had last weekend because, well, we didn't have a global. So Cody Smart, 544, Taylor, 448, myself, 448, Orman, 420, Brendan, 120, Goforth, 77. So those standings are still the same as last week after Turkey. So we will have the updated standings leaving USA and heading to Mexico. So, yeah. So, those are the standings for Global. COTA is going to be a good race. Same with the W Series as far as that's concerned. This weekend we're at Kansas for the second race of the round of 8 for Xfinity and Cup. And it should be good, if you know what I mean. So, with that said, we're going to go to predictions. So here are the standings leaving Texas, the official NASCAR standings. Cody Smart has 739 points, a comfortable lead over Zachary Taylor in second at 651 points. Nathan Orman, 40 points back in third at 611. Yours truly in fourth at 585. Allison Rainey rounds out the top 5 with 479 points. Kyle Langland 6th at 368 points. Great Lakes is 7th at 317. 8th is Sidney Curtis at 302 points. Quentin Moore is 9th with 52 points. Brendan Rogers rounds out the top 10 with 38 points. And Cody Goforth is last with 27. Well, he's been last for quite some time. Okay, so global predictions. We're going to just go over them because I have not gotten Taylor's global picks. Cody Smart, driver to win for W Series is Alice Powell, and he picked her as the champion. Emma Kimmelainen, driver stay away from. Jamie Chadwick, the dark horse. For F1, it's Lewis Hamilton, driver to win. Driver stay away from Antonio Giovinazzi and Max Verstappen, the dark horse. For yours truly, I took Jamie Chadwick, driver to win, and the championship again. Sarah Moore, driver stay away from. Alice Powell, the dark horse. For F1, I took Max Verstappen, driver to win. Driver stay away from Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez, the dark horse. For Nathan Orman, he took Narina Marti as driver to win. Alice Powell, driver to stay away from. Dark horse, Emma Kimmelainen, and the champion, also Emma Kimmelainen. For F1, he took Valtteri Bottas, driver to win. Driver stay away from Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris as the dark horse. So, before I reveal my picks to you guys, here are the predictions from the panelists so far. Oh, we were supposed to have all the panelists with us, but because they already put their picks in and I'm doing the show solo, then yeah. So, we'll have panelists on the show next week, by the way. Taylor, for driver to win for Xfinity, Noah Gragson. Driver stay away from Brandon Jones. Justin Haley, dark horse. For Cup, he took Kyle Larson, driver to win. Driver stay away from Brett Keselowski. Ryan Blaney as the dark horse. Orman, he took AJ Allmendinger as the driver to win. Noah Gragson, driver stay away from. Justin Haley as the dark horse. And then for Cup, he took Chase Elliott, driver to win. Kyle Busch, driver stay away from. Martin Truex Jr. as the dark horse. For Cody Smart, he said Daniel Hemrick is the driver to win in Xfinity. Driver stay away from Brandon Jones. Dark horse AJ Allmendinger. And for Cup, he took Kyle Larson, driver to win. Driver stay away from Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott as the dark horse. Now, it's time for my predictions. For Xfinity, my driver to win, I'm going to take a risk. Brandon Jones as driver to win. Driver stay away from. Oh boy. I'm going to say Stay away from Austin Cindric. Because every time Austin Cindric gets in the round of 8 at Kansas, it always goes bad for him. My dark horse, some good picks. I can't take Haley. I'm going to take... Ooh, this is hard. Let me make sure I'm picking a driver that's in the playoffs. Give me Harrison Burton as dark horse. And for Cup, I'm going to do a different method, if you ask me, for my picks. I'm going to steal Wyatt's method. I'm sorry, Wyatt, if you're watching this. My dark horse, he's won at Kansas before, and I believe he is going to bounce back after his engine failure. Joey Logano as the dark horse. Driver stay away from. I feel like the pressure is going to get to him trying to stay in the top 8 in the points. And when I say he's going to be in a lot of pressure, he's going to be in a lot of pressure. I'm going to take... I'm going to say... I just think he's going to have a pretty bad day. I'm going to say Ryan Blaney is the driver to stay away from. Driver to win. I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr. will join Kyle Larson into the championship 4. So, again, Martin Truex Jr. driver to win. My driver to stay away from is Ryan Blaney, and my dark horse is Joey Logano. So those are predictions as of now. So there you go. Let's take a look at this week's upcoming events, brought to you by Kim K Coach Lines, the official motor coach carrier of the PCSRA. Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be the 4th and last episode of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show, as they'll recap Texas and preview Kansas and all that good stuff. So hopefully you'll join them for that in that regard. That's a look at this week's upcoming events, brought to you by Kim K Coach Lines, the official motor coach carrier of the PCSRA. For more information, visit kimkcoach.com. As far as looking at this week's upcoming PCSRA racing events and all that good stuff, we are going to start the Sonoma weekend coming up next. Following my fine television programming, we'll be getting ready for the Diva Series. They're going to run their race at in a little bit out west in San Francisco. It will be the CRLA race at Infineon. And then we have the TMSRA Diva Series drivers. They are off for a while because they're going to Richmond that night. So tomorrow night will be the Diva Series 400 race. They're the HendrickCars.com 400. Reese's will start either Friday or next week because I'm going to be working Wednesday and Thursday as far as that's concerned. So it'll probably be, it'll be Saturday. It'll be Division 1 will start on or Friday, excuse me. Either Friday or Thursday or Friday. However, a time that I will start that race is TPA. So there you go. We'll keep you up to date on what decision I've made for that series, and we'll go from there. So that's a look at this week's upcoming PCSRA Awesome Events, brought to you by Subway Eat Fresh, proud sponsor of Chloe Bumgarden, the number 84 Audi RS8. So far. Special thanks to our amazing panelists today, Nathan Orman, Zachary Taylor, Cody Smart, Kyle Langland, Great Lakes, Allie, Sydney, and all of our amazing people who've been a part of this awesome show. Our statistician, Caleb Hobbs, producer and engineer, Zachary Fitzwater, Jackie Tang, Alex Hawkins, Dennis Stats Kelly, Prue Granger, Abigail Stone, Lucky Prescott, all of our amazing friends, Greg Rutz, Daniel Anderson running the show for us back in our PCSRA Network studios, and Sean Art as well, as we look forward to his company for the show next year. Also, before I sign off, there is something I'm going to tell you this right here and right now. Next season, this Paddock Pass will cover the global standings. The NASCAR Pit Stop Show will be moving over to this channel next season. It will be called The Blue Hedgehog Presents the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. We'll be covering all NASCAR stuff, and it will be 2 different shows, so we're definitely looking forward to you guys joining us for all of those things. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office is a proud sponsor of OU Athletics and Triple P, and wants to remind you that drinking and driving is deadly and illegal. Together we can end DUI. Visit enduyok.com to learn more. One more note from our favorite friend, our Dennis Stats Kelly. Kyle Larson became the 4th Hendrick driver to punch his ticket into the championship 4. The last 2 times Hendrick got into the Final 4 to compete for the championship in the Cup Series, both times Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott won the championship. We'll see if Kyle Larson will become the 3rd Hendrick driver in the last 4 times to take the championship home. Final score, one final time, at Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma, on a Saturday night under the lights at the Palace of the Prairie. It was my OU Sooners 52, Greg Rutz and TCU 31. Until next week, this is Daniel Volo saying, Sooners win! And Boomer Sooner, everybody.
On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, PCSRA Paddock Pass has been brought to you by Budweiser, Love's Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, and by the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office, where we encourage all of you fans that together we can end DUI. Thanks for joining us for the PCSRA Paddock Pass Show. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the PCSRA Sports Network. Copyright 2021 by the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues and the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association.